Yeah, right here, Cedar
Cross
Creek.
that bridge, right?
Cross
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
bridge, go
Hang
left.
immediate left, and the property's right there on your left,
Right.
and Cedar Creek goes in around behind it.
Around behind.
And Ted's talking to the Department of Highways. In order to stay away from the little turn down here on 33, stay back as close to the bridge as possible to put your access road in there. Is there anybody that has any other thoughts other than that? I mean, this is my personal opinion. We're here to hear what you've got to say. You know, do you agree that these probably are the two most viable sites of everything we've looked at to this
Oh,
point?
yeah.
And cost effectively, I don't think we have a choice but to go with Little Crooked Creek as our first choice.
We're talking $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
A lot of money.
we were fortunate as at the first time to go around to get that grant/loan from the state. That would not be necessary if we had this site. Of course, the PSD would be the one that had that, but it would eliminate that cost if we didn't have to do that, because you've got the water line that runs right down 33 toward Normantown. You've got the power right till we turn up to Cedar Creek.
And either site would be big enough for a future high school if that's what the future brings.
Mm-hmm.
Little Crooked Creek, though, you're just buying enough property to build the elementary
Right.
with the idea that you, in the future,
We
buy
could
it.
expect-
Whereas
there could be
the auction
expansion.
barn site, you would purchase all of it in one lump.
And mainly because the auction barn site, that's already one property owner. Little Crooked Creek,
It's probably going to be two owners. at
two
least,
owners, so.
But like I said, the bottom line, the worst case scenario, you've got condemnation if you have an unwilling seller to purchase additional property. Now, I don't know what, it's in this is in the process of being appraised, so I have no idea what's going to end up. I suspect it's going to come out pretty close to what the appraisal was on the other site. There's not a lot of difference.
Did you say the Little Crooked Creek one is up high?
Yes. And you could see it actually when you come down Cedar Creek here, you'd actually be able to see the school from this side, and then probably from this side would be the site probably a little better this way, but you're still gonna be able to, I think, see the school from 33.
So the auction barn one's already been appraised?
Yeah,
Mhm.
last year,
Okay.
because they had to have a auction on the property.
Before they submitted.
Yeah, so we had an option before we submitted the project last year. We no longer have an option on this site though. It's run out.
So we'd be starting all over with that one.
Auction barn? Yes. We'd have to negotiate again for this property, as well as I said, I'm in current negotiation for this site, if everything would pan out.
But it just looks like there's more on the Arbuckle site, maybe it's just the way that it's
More land.
laid out, more land, the way that
It's shaped.
the way the
Mhm.
shape of it is, doesn't
Mhm.
look like that there's 70-some acres with Little Crooked Creek
Well,
site.
it's deceiving. It's not just the yellow.
It's
It
all
goes all
this.
the way to the red.
Oh, okay.
It actually goes to the creek.
The
Okay.
yellow is just the developable
The
part.
develop,
of it.
okay. All right.
Blue is part of that property, but it's floodplain.
You can see
Yeah,
it
see,
on the.
see this property actually goes all the way to the road
Behind it too.
and Cedar Creek here behind it, as well as all the way over to the main road.
Yeah, so that property actually is all the way to here,
Mhm.
but that's floodplain.
Which is shown in blue on this.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything people develop in floodplain?
Nope.
Nothing at all? No walkways, no nothing?
Well, you can put walkways
Park.
and no future buildings.
Is that red line Cedar Creek Road? Is that what you keep saying? Over where the floodplain is, over to the red broken line? What's the red broken line?
This is Cedar
Property
Creek
boundary.
Road.
Okay.
It's the-
This is where you come off of 33-119. This red line is the proposed property line that follows Cedar Creek, and then it goes back.
Yeah, you see all that's not in yellow on this. This is all this property.
The yellow there is actually stopping at this line, but the 73 acres goes all the way to that property.
That's good. Other questions?
So access in and out of the property would be off at 33-119,
Right,
which would make it very easy in, very easy out.
just south of the bridge. And just as we did with the auction barn Arbuckle site, we did discuss these sites with the Department of Highways, and they had no major concerns with site distances here. They had no major concerns of moving this road up to that point to access just south of the bridge. Obviously, the Westfall site, they said, just as we've said, that it needs to be improved. The Reed property we didn't discuss because it's already improved highway. But they're okay with this site.
Any other thoughts? Anything we haven't covered? Any pros or cons that you want to develop? We ask, is there a consensus in the room for a site?
Yes.
Okay. Is it this site?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any opposed to that site?
And on the floodplain,
No. The part that is in blue is. But the buildable site, which we have in yellow here, is, if it floods, we're all in trouble. Ted, is there anything else you want to comment on?
Don't think so. This is Greg Martin from our office. He was with us in an earlier meeting and tagging along this evening. So.
Greg's been doing most of the work on the inter-county school. We had a meeting earlier today with the planning committee out there. So, let me rehash this then. You're comfortable with everything we've talked about? You understand the cost? You understand the pros and cons on all the additional sites that we've looked at? And if I were to say, when I make my presentation to the SBA, that we had pretty much unanimous consent for that site because of all the pros and cons and everything considered.
I think you've done a great job trying to find another site.
Mm-hmm.
You know, considering that our committee had
Racked their brains.
racked their brains on I don't know how many different sites, you know.
Well, it's important.
Parcels.
It's important that the public understand that we've looked at everything that anybody has suggested
That's right.
and looked at it very seriously, as you can see, to the point that we've done some pretty serious cost estimates.
I think it's very clearly articulated exactly what needs to be done for each one of the sites so that it's there, black and white.
I'm all in favor of saving $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, just think of what all you could do with it. You
Think of
know,
a couple of things, couldn't we?
I can think of a few.
$1 million that we don't have.
Right.
That's right.
Well, Laura,
I think you guys have done a great job
And
coming
we've
up with the
taken
other sites.
travel time into consideration, which I think is,
Yeah, to me, you know, I guess I'm prejudiced, but you know, I had to walk a great distance to even catch a bus when I was in school.
mm-hmm.
So I've been very concerned about the kids on the farthest ends of,
Yeah.
of the attendance areas.
Well,
You
that-
think of all the way out of Route 5 out there to almost into Burnsville, and you think of the kids all the way down to Rosedale. That, to me, is probably the best site as far as keeping those thoughts in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you think maybe 15 years down the line that maybe we could have a new high school with playing fields and whatever. And if you think about it in that site, that probably is about halfway from Lynn to Rosedale.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Pretty close.
it wouldn't be too far. It wouldn't be too far off of being about halfway. So I think that's pretty fair.
Well, I brought that up because I rode the bus for an hour and about 15 minutes. That's why I asked that question, because we've had kids that have fallen asleep on the bus, and you always want to think about what's the least going to be the least concern for the least amount of time for kids to be on the bus. So.
And that's that's not only a requirement, state requirement, that you meet those times, but that's a question the school building authority is going to ask me when I go talk to them. What are your travel times from your farthest distances of your areas, your attended boundaries?
Do we know what the travel times are, sort of?
Joe and I've been working very hard on that. We think we've got pretty close. Which, until you actually run the bus from both those, and it's hard to do that because, to simulate all the stops is about all you can do there.
Yeah.
So we think we're pretty close. And it's going to be tight in anything we do as far as meeting those times. Any other concerns or questions from any of the group? Everybody pleased with that? Good with that?
It's great.
I guess the only concern I would say would be sometimes when people know that you want that property, they might raise the property price up more than.
But
Well, yeah.
That's not an issue.
If the owner and the board can arrive at an agreement, then it won't be a problem. If we can't, then we'll have to go to condemnation route. And nobody wants to do that, but that's the bottom line. I prefer not to go that route. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, let me thank all of you. Really appreciate that. And we'll try to keep you updated. And if you have any concerns that comes up after the meeting, feel free to give me a call.
And when will you do your presentation?
The submission has to be December the 3rd. You don't have to have a site selected by then. But presentation will be in probably March and selection in April. Yeah, same time frames we did it last time.
All right. Until we meet again, all right?
Thank you very much.
Hope you never do, no?
Have a good evening.